everybody. This is Samantha Dawn Tutz, and you are listening to Odd Woman Out, a podcast and a show where we're chatting with women artists about what it is like to be a woman in the entertainment industry, the struggles that we face, and the fun that we have while we do it. So thank you for listening. Enjoy this episode. Tell a friend to listen, and tell a woman to love themselves a little more every single day. Hi, Whitney.
Hi, Diva.
Welcome to Odd Woman Out. I'm so happy to have you here. How are you feeling today? I know we had some traffic getting here to the Welcome to Times Square studio.
I'm feeling good. Honestly, you're fabulous. Odd Woman Out is fabulous. And I'm kind of gooped, gagged, and excited to be here. So thank you for having me.
Oh my God, gooped. I'm gagged. I wrote in your thank you card, I said, when this show was born, please, yes, for the viewers, here we go. When this show was born, I had like a list of women that I was like, have to have on this show. And girl, you were at the top.
Thank you.
Because I've been a Whitney White stan since the Dear
Yes.
Dead Drug Lord.
Yes, Our Dear Dead Drug Lord by Alexis Shear. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was a special one.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that because that one fucked me up. That one fucked me up a lot. So let's go back to your childhood. Let's talk about, was there a woman artist or a woman in your life that inspired you to want to become an artist?
I have to give a shout out to my mother. My mother, Janice, inspired me deeply to want to become. Shout out to Janice. Thank you for putting up with me all of these years. But you know, my mother was just so fabulous. Yeah. So she exposed me to art with a capital A, cinema, music, all these things, and it deeply inspired me to be the person I am today.
Okay,
yeah.
Now let's go to one of your first artistic jobs, or it doesn't have to be the very first one. Was there a woman who uplifted you, maybe in a situation where you were coming in like a little insecure, not really knowing what was going on? Was it one of your first times? Tell us about it.
Yes. My first professional artistic job, I was a replacement actor and actress in a musical called Caroline or Change.
Yes.
At the Court Theater in Chicago, Illinois, and I was Radio 3. Tough and dreary and all disheveled. That was me.
Amazing.
And I replaced this woman, and I was terrified. I think I had a week of rehearsals and then a week or two, and then I had to start doing the show. And the incredible Faye Butler was playing Caroline in Caroline or Change. And to this day, she's one of the greatest actors I've ever worked with. I've since directed her in a play.
Wow, that's
The Amen
cool.
Corner. And like, she just taught me the A's, B's, C's, PQs, ups and downs, how to show up, how to have a voice, how to be a professional, how to own a crowd, how to deal with disrespect, how to command respect. To this day, Faye Butler is everything and was everything. And I was just fresh out of the little Northwestern musical theater program.
Shout out to Northwestern.
Okay. And I knew nothing about how to show up as a professional woman, especially a Black woman in an artistic space.
Right.
And I learned it from her.
I love that. And then look at the full circle. Then you got to direct her.
Yes.
How cool was that?
It was surreal.
Were you like, what is happening?
It was surreal because I don't know if I've ever seen anyone command an audience like Faye Butler.
Yeah.
If you're not in New York and you get the chance to see her in one of her shows, she's also directing now. It's kind of like you can't breathe. It's like you can't breathe when she's working on stage. It's so powerful and mighty, and she delivers up her performance for every audience member. And I think, honestly, since working with her, I'm always trying to encourage that from my actors. Don't forget your audience.
Yeah.
They need you. Give your energy and send your energy to them. And Faye Butler does that so beautifully.
Shout out to Faye. So you were started out acting. So how did you make the transition?
Oh my gosh.
From acting to directing?
I applied to the MFA acting program at Brown University, which at the time was joint with a place called Trinity Rep. And at the time I applied as an actor. I got in as an actor because I had been doing so many musical theater roles in Chicago. I used to joke and say, you know, if there's a musical with a Black girl in it, I'm in it. I was in Rent. I was in Hair. I was in Showboat. I was on the Showboat. I did all these shows, and eventually I just hit a wall.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had more to offer. But I realized it was bigger than me. I just thought that female roles have more to offer everyone. And how am I going to do that? So I thought going to an acting program would do it. But then at the end of my first year, it just didn't click. And I had a directing teacher, Brian Murtis, and his wife, Melissa Kiefman. And they encouraged me to think about directing, which was something that was so outside of my experience. And so Brian Murtis gave me a copy of Ibsen's Hedda Gabler, which I'm hoping to adapt. Look out for that production.
Hello, if anyone's listening.
It's happening.
Let's do it.
Just deal with it, world. But he charged me with adapting Hedda Gabler for 8 people and directing it. And it changed my life. And it was like my brain was quiet. I had been working as an actor and singer for a long time.
Yeah.
I had studied politics. I had studied music. And it just, as a performer, I wanted to give more but didn't know how. And that Ibsen, the Hedda Gabler, it really... it changed my life. And then I moved here and I started assisting Sam Gold, and I got Who's a Gem, and I got my first directing job in the city on What to Send Up When It Goes Down by Alicia Harris.
Wow. That's an amazing story. Isn't it so interesting how, you started your artistic journey thinking, it was going to be one thing, and now it's something completely different. Now you're a Tony-nominated director, you know what I mean? Like, did you ever think that as you were coming up? So it's just so important to always trust the journey and, take the opportunities as they come and can always continue to learn, because you never know what it will lead to.
Because it was a big journey, and at first I wanted to be an opera singer, then I wanted to be an actor, then I wanted to just do TV, and then I found directing, and every time someone said no, I found a window to jump through. So journey with a capital J is really how I got here. So I try and encourage people, sometimes no is an opportunity to find your true path forward.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love that. So tell us about a time in your artistic journey with a capital J that you have felt like the odd woman out.
Oh my gosh. I think there's been a lot of moments. I'm the only Black woman working on Broadway currently. This season, this fall. And so there's a lot of times I come into rooms and I'm the only one there, or, I'm looking at shows and I feel like my point of view sometimes feels a little different than other directors, but I don't get discouraged. I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and I love our theater community. I think all theater workers are equal, and we need all of our voices to keep theater alive, And I'm really someone who goes to see every show. I if I can see it, if I have the time, I want to see it on and off Broadway, because it's a real gift to be in the community. But a lot of times I feel like the one and only, but it's not true, right? That I think being the odd woman out, it sometimes people make you feel, or the system makes you feel like you're the only one, but you're not. There's Liliana Blaine-Cruz, there's these other women working, but right now it's just me this season, this fall. So there's a lot of things I go to where I'm like, oh, I am the odd woman out, quite literally.
Yeah.
And I also think when I was an actor and when I pivoted from acting to directing, I felt like the odd woman out, because I remember I went to an agent at the time and I said, I want to do more. How can I do more? And there was no answer for me. I was like, I can't be a chorus girl for the rest of my life.
Right.
And shout out to the chorus girls. They are the heroines of the American theater.
For real.
But I was like, I think I have more stories to tell. Isn't there a way to do it? And the people around me at the time said, no, this is the path.
They said N-O.
Yeah, this is the path. You just get another show, or you do a TV show here and there, and that's it. And I said, it can't be it. And that is really what led me, I guess, to be where I am.
Yeah, well,
now.
you've made your own path. You're like, I'm not taking no as an answer. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And again, look where we landed, Tony-nominated director. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for sharing that. It is so important to remember that when you are the only person in the room that looks like you, that to stand in your power and know you deserve to be there, and you're paving the way for the next. What somebody else on the show said, pull up a chair to the table and then keep pulling up another, and then keep pulling up another. And that's sort of what it has to be.
And I think sometimes people are just surprised. I experience a lot of times people being surprised by me. Like people say things like, oh, I never knew you could X, or I didn't expect you to be able to Y.
Yeah, but why?
And I think that's the T is like.
But based off of what?
And I think assumptions like kill us every time.
Right.
You know, if you assume, you know, you're cutting off so much possibility. So when people are surprised by something about me or an ability that I have, I say, no problem. I'm happy that, you know, my skill set can be useful right now in this moment.
That's a good way to do it. I'd be like, why? What do you mean?
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about our dear dead. I cannot speak it.
I know. Our dear dead drug lord.
Thank you.
There we go.
So for me, as a theater goer, this was the first time that I've seen a play about women breaking the boundaries and just taking risks and being bold and fearless. And for me, I've always been like women empowerment and what can we do as women? And that inspired me and took my breath away in so many ways. I saw it multiple times.
Me too.
And that hanger scene was so brave and bold, and we needed it. We needed that play to continue on with what we're doing now. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with that and how that play came to you and why it was important for you?
Well, Alexis Shear is fierce. The
She
text
is so fierce.
I highly recommend you all get a copy of Our Dear Dead Drug Lord because what she was doing at the time she was doing it, I think paved the way for John Proctor, paved the way for the television show that's on in the BBC right now, Riot Girls. I think, you know, when I got the text, I always say yes to a play based off the text first because I'm like, I don't know, I'm such a Midwest lady. It's like if I look a puppy in the eye, I'm going to fall in love. So I try and like honestly read the play or listen to the musical. Yeah. Every job I've ever done, I read it first before meeting the writer because I wanted to armor myself with my true opinion. And when I read the play, I was blown away by how unblinking it was. It's like looking down the barrel of a gun and not blinking about what it's like to grow up in a teenage girl's body, dealing with different issues and wanting power. That is a play about a group of girls who want voice and power. They go about it an insane way. I don't want to
insane.
I don't want to give it all away. Right, totally. Like it gives A24, it gives Get Out, it gives you horror movie, comic book gore
100%
delivery at the end. But I said yes to the play because at the time I was trying to find my voice. I was trying to find my power. And my identity as a director. And when Alexis and I met, it was clear she had a vision, but it was also clear that she was comfortable with my vision. And she was comfortable with me taking up space. And I was comfortable and passionate about her taking up space. I'll never forget, you know, in that hangar scene, there was a beat that I couldn't crack. And Alexis was like, I have the way forward. And I said, go do it, you know? And it was that mutual taking up of space that made that such a divine experience. I also think being a woman now, having had a child, having gone through puberty, it was a while ago, but we went through it. I think the hormonal changes that we experience, really, we have a heightened experience that science and people in the world don't always acknowledge. And that showed, like, tapped into, to me, the physiological experience of being in my female body. Yeah. The ups and the downs. Yes. The big swings, the emotional swings. And I just loved it. It was insane.
I loved it too.
And also I was like, this is an impossible ask. I love things that are impossible.
I love that. Which let's just transition right into Liberation because we're going from one female-focused play to another. Liberation off Broadway. I have not seen it on Broadway yet. It took my breath away. You're taking my breath away. Didn't I just say that? It took my breath away. It is so beautifully crafted in every single way possible. So can you tell us a little bit about how your experience maybe with Drug Lord then got you on like the women power play directing train or whatever you want to say about it, because Liberation is so powerful. So what made you want to jump into the Liberation pool?
I think the thing that's there's a sisterhood in those two plays in terms of what I call a diverse, and I don't mean DEI, I mean diverse in terms of different different people, right? Not just identity politics, but like our Dear Dead Drug Lord had a snapshot of 4 very different women.
Yeah.
And similarly, Liberation is an ensemble. They're ensemble pieces, is what I mean to say. And I think most of the thrilling pieces of my career have been ensemble pieces. Jaja's African Hair Braiding, What to Send Up When It Goes Down, The Amen Corner. They're these impossible plays with like so many voices, and each one is singular. And I'm just deeply attracted to that. And I think it prepared me. It was a boot camp on how to make everyone in the ensemble shine.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about
and
that.
They do.
Probably from having been a chorus girl. I just remember I was in a production of Showboat as like slave number 2 or whatever. And like, I don't think the director talked to me once about like my inspiration or where I was coming from, you know? And so I think I'm always trying to remedy that experience. And Liberation just takes that to the max. It's this beautiful ensemble piece of theater that is undeniably loud, undeniably real, and each character you just fall in love with and you want to fight for each one.
For real.
Yeah.
You really do. So if you're listening and you haven't seen the play, I'm giving a spoiler, sorry. So for me, I walked out of that play being like, all of those actresses are sitting butt naked on that stage. And a theme I talk about on this show a lot is feeling secure in our bodies as women and not looking back at this footage and me hating myself, right? And that is something that I think all women artists deal with. So I walked out of that play being like, holy fuck. Holy fuck, I don't know if I could do that and do it and still be so present in the play and in your character. So how did you tackle that as a director? And what were the struggles and rewards with that scene?
Yes, that's a really good question. I think that, well, I always like to foreground the fact that theater is not a solo sport. It is a team sport.
100%.
And the designers I worked with helped create a vestibule of safety around those actors. Intimacy coordinator, Kelsey Rainwater, lighting designer, Chassis, costume designer, Queen Jean, scenic hair, Nikia Mathis, David Zinn, you know, all of these designers really sat with me and were like, what can we give these actors that they can hold on to? So what I mean to say is I was in dialogue with a lot of people about safety, about comfort. And we took it in baby steps, you know, because ultimately what's most important about the scene is what they're saying. Right. Is what they're sharing with each other. Exactly. And so I actually focused on rehearsing the scene clothed, just to be like, let's find what these characters want to communicate first. Yeah. It's actually about the sharing. It's not about the body. Yeah. The body is a vessel to their deeper connection.
Exactly. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It is about the sharing, not about the body. That's got to be my new catchphrase for this show. It's about the sharing, not about the body. Yeah. Okay, please continue.
You know, I love it too, actually. We should be putting that on more things.
Yeah. We need some merch.
And I think what I struggled with was just reassuring my actors, my playwright, everyone around the production that the work will take the amount of time it needs to take. You cannot bake a cake in a minute.
Correct.
You cannot have a baby in a day. And when we're doing this podcast right now, we just froze the show yesterday. And opening is on the 28th. And even in this time from freeze to opening, we'll still be working on the show, crafting these notes. And sometimes you give an actor a note, and it won't make sense till closing. So I really try and just make a safe environment so that people feel comfortable to keep working. Because when you lock up and you freeze and you can't adapt anymore and you can't be fluid and you're just in a defensive place, that's when the work really dies. Yeah. But if you feel comfortable enough to keep rolling your shoulders back, pulling up your sleeves and keep cooking the stew, the work gets better. So I feel like that scene has been directed to continue to evolve and deepen over time. And that's the only struggle I've faced, is just keep encouraging everyone on the team to let them keep cooking, you know?
I love that. Keep cooking the stew.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I walked out of there being like, fuck, that is amazing. It's amazing. It really is incredible.
And it was also an impossible challenge. When I read it, I was like, how am I going to do it? But then the playwright did all this, Bess Wool, shout out to her.
Shout out to Bess Wool.
Yeah, she did all this incredible research with women who actually sat in these groups at the time. So these characters are inspired partially by women who actually did this. And the surviving women, there are women still alive.
Yeah.
They're very proud that they did this.
So
I'm like,
that.
if those women could do it for real, can't I do it for play?
Yeah.
I've got to have enough courage if they did it, if they could do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about your Tony nomination for Jaja's African Hair Braiding. I want to talk about that play too, because that play gave a story for women that don't always get their stories told at all. Mm-hmm. And it was so important. And I watched a ton of videos about it, about women who are coming, being so emotional, being like, I see myself and my story on that stage. So how was it for you to get a Tony nomination for such an important show and to give women a voice, Black immigrant women a voice who don't get that?
I have to say it's very surreal because, of course, I know that my story is universal. Every human is a human outside of identity politics and the things that keep us apart. Everybody's just a human being alive for the moment we're alive. And so I know my story is universal. Many people have told me throughout my life that a story rooted around a Black woman is not universal, but that is a lie. That's not true. Lie. And so with Jaja's, it felt so thrilling alongside the incredible Jocelyn Bio.
She's amazing.
To make something that so many people identified with, even though it was about a very specific group of people. And I loved that experience so much. It's very dear to me in my heart. And I sometimes blink, did that really happen? But it gave me courage for liberation because female stories are universal stories. Like, men should come to liberation. If anyone who's ever had a mother, anyone who's ever been in love with a woman, anyone who's ever admired a woman, then the show is for you because it's a human story. And so Jaja's just gave me a spine. Yeah. It's like, you can't lie to me anymore. You can't tell me that a woman's story is not universal, that everyone can't learn from a woman's story. You can't tell me anymore that a Black story isn't universal. You can't tell me that our stories don't have currency. Our stories don't have a place in the marketplace.
Right.
You can't sell that to me anymore. You can't tell me that you can't debut cold on Broadway. We did that. So it was good. I think it healed a lot of kind of trauma and fear or believing things that have been told to me, things that have been sold to me about what's possible for me and you and every woman working on theater, every female identifying person working in theater. Right. We have been sold a lot of lies about what's possible for us.
Right. Based off of nothing.
Based off of nothing. And that's been shattered. You can't keep me down with that anymore.
Yes, girl, you can't keep her down. You can't keep us down anymore. Okay. You've directed a ton of amazing plays. Is there one character in any of the plays that you have directed that you've learned a lesson from? And what is that lesson and who is that character?
Oh my gosh. That is the best question I've ever been asked.
Oh my God.
I have never, hold on.
Whitney White.
Wait a second.
I'm blushing.
Okay. Wow, I'm going to spill tea now.
Okay. We love tea. Give us the tea.
Oh, gosh. Okay, there is a character in the Amen Corner.
Okay.
The Amen Corner by James Baldwin. The lead character is named Maggie. She runs a church in Harlem, and she runs it with a mighty hand. She's always telling the congregation she knows what she's doing. They should do what she says. She tells them how to obey God. She's a leader with a capital L who's a little full of herself. And then in the second scene of the play, this woman who's been saying she's so perfect, she's so holy, her lover comes back into town. And the church is like, now wait a minute. You told us that this man was gone. And the lover, the father of her child, comes back into town, and he's a jazz musician. Child, it's a scandal. And so her hypocrisy breaks down everything that she's made. because there's a lady in the church who was played by Ife Butler who takes her down. It's epic. The Amen Corner, I'm going to also do this in New York, so prepare yourselves, world.
If anybody's listening,
but
we could use some.
The Amen Corner is such a fabulous play because it's like Julius Caesar upstairs, August Wilson love story downstairs.
Oh my God.
And she's brought down off her throne, Julius Caesar style, for her hypocrisy. And I learned, baby, I learned a lot. And, you know, that character motivates me in a scary way to try and keep it real as much as I can when I'm in a leadership position.
Yeah.
Because I'm not perfect, you know, and so how can I lead from a place of being imperfect and honest? Because everybody has stones under the water, skeletons in the closet. Everyone has strong traits and weak traits. And that character's brought down because she's built her house of lies around a mythology of perfection. So, that is the role.
Woo, I love that. And I can't wait to see it in New York City really soon. What's your advice for a woman artist who is struggling, feeling like they're less than, feeling like the odd woman out, feeling like they're not good enough, feeling their insecurities? What is your advice to them to plow forward and continue to tackle their dreams?
I think my most honest advice is remember that other women have done this before, and so can you. You can do it. You can find your way. You might need to find your inspiration. You might need to look to the past, to a woman who inspires you, and learn how she kept herself going. Read that book, you know, listen to your favorite podcast, go to the museum. I like to say, what I mean by saying doing those things is fill up your well. Because if you fill up your artistic well, your creative well, with the things you love that make you feel strong, when you have these moments of adversity, when you experience challenges, you're not empty. You have strength to meet the world. And I try and practice that every day. Yeah. I'm the only person who can really nurture myself at times, and that's my responsibility to make sure I have done my artistic muscular reps so that I can meet the world. But I would say, you know, don't despair. Look to the past, because we are not the first people to try and do this. And water your garden, you know?
Water the garden. I love it. So I already think you're doing this, and I think you're doing it a lot for the women artist community. What can we do to continue to make space for women to speak their voices in a way that's not going to be like, oh, this woman play. Yeah. You know? And you're already doing it. So what can we all do to keep that going and to keep pulling up a seat for women at the table to be equal to our male counterparts doing the same shit?
I hope this is a good answer to this question, but I've been trying to practice this thing where if I'm out in public and a woman is laboring for me, a bus driver, a waiter, at the bookstore, the person working at the bookstore owner, I'm trying to have just more conversations with women. Like, look into the eyes of the women you meet and talk to them.
I love that.
And just take the moment. I'm trying to practice that a little bit more. So that's my weird everyday practice. And it's like, I think sometimes it was really the quarantine that did this to me. Like, I remember how the world just stopped, but every now and then you had to get a vaccine or you had to go on a bus somewhere. It was a woman who gave me my vaccine. It was a woman who gave me my ballot to vote. It was a woman who was driving the bus around when I was with my mask trying to get around, you know. And I was like, we're kind of keeping the world running right now. And I'm not seeing these women. How can I see these women? Yeah. And then I think professionally in the theater world, it's like, go see the plays. Go see the plays and support the plays. I feel like, you know, Ragtime is running, Phantom is running. There's a lot of work that's being directed by women that's running. Go see it. Support it. Before you leap to a criticism, remind yourself how impossible it was for that person to get there and make that work. For real. And then talk about it from there, you know?
I love that. Yeah. Tell everybody why they need to run to Liberation ASAP?
You need to run to Liberation to be transported to a different time.
For real.
We all need to go to a different time right now.
For real.
Because you need to be transported to a time where people thought utopia was possible, where people thought revolution was possible, people thought that positive political change was possible, and get a little inspiration from that time. You also need to run to Liberation because these people in the play are hilarious. And I think it's a lot easier to make someone cry right now than it is to make them laugh. And this cast gifts the audience with so much life and humor. So, come hang out with my little oddball motley crew of people from the 70s.
Yes.
Because you're going to have a good time, a good evening, and that's why you need to come. Come for a good time. Come for the motivation to get some fuel to fight.
I sign off on all of that. Run. Before we let you go, by the way, this was an amazing interview. I barely looked at my cards. I feel like we were here for 1 second. Like, what happened? Let everybody know how they can keep up with you on the social medias, with your projects and all the things.
Yes. I have a website. It's like whitney-white.com, and I try to keep stuff on there. And I'm on Instagram. Yes, I'm Whitney White. And, if there's a theater near you, I'm usually creeping around. I have a tour. Jaja's African Hair Braiding is touring right now. So if you're in LA, go see that cast. They're incredible. And if you're in New York City, you have one more week to see Saturday Church, the musical at New York Theater Workshop I directed.
Yes.
And then Liberation on Broadway will be running to the end of the year and into the new year. Come see those shows.
See, that's the thing. You have so many things that we could have talked about, but then we would be here for hours. I didn't even touch on half of it. I touched on 4.
But you did ask me, honestly, the best question I've ever been asked. I feel like I've shared too much about myself a little bit, but yeah, no one has ever asked that.
Oh my God, thank you. That means a lot. Mm-hmm. I love Odd Woman Out.
I do too.
And I'm so grateful you came on. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody go see Liberation now. Yay. Hi, Odd Squad. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Odd Woman Out. I hope you liked it and enjoyed it. Please give us a like, subscribe, and follow. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Odd Woman Show. Tell a friend to tell a friend. She's back.